How much should I be stretching? Should I be stretching every day? If you're trying to become more flexible, but you're also dealing with arthritis, joint pain, fatigue, one of the main questions is, how much should I stretch? Should I be stretching every day, every morning, 20 minutes, 45 minutes? And there's two pieces to this here that I want to get into. The first is, this is going to be completely individualized because we're looking at a couple factors. The first factor is, whatever that routine is, a movement routine, a stretching routine, maybe it's a workout. How do you respond to the workout? How do you respond during it? How do you respond during the stretching routine? Does it loosen you up in the moment? Do you feel better for the rest of that day maybe? Does it give you energy? Do you feel better maybe the day after? You feel better after a stretching routine that day and the day after. So the first thing I like to look at is, how are you responding? Just not even thinking about, is it increasing your flexibility? Are you getting stronger? How are you responding to that? Any sort of movement routine, stretching routine, even walking, how are you responding? That's the first thing I look at, because that accumulation over time, just the movement is just going to increase energy. It's going to make you feel better that day, and it's going to help with the fatigue, and it's going to help just remain consistent if you're feeling better during and after the workout or the stretching routine. You know, the one thing we definitely don't want is joint pain while we're stretching. We don't want it to cause more fatigue. We don't want it to cause too much soreness. So if those things are happening, if you have any pain, you need to change course, maybe reduce the range of motion, look at different exercises, maybe reduce the duration of that stretching routine. There shouldn't be any pain. But if you're doing a routine and you feel pretty good during, but say maybe later that day or the next day you're extremely sore, maybe look at reducing the duration a little bit, reducing the reps a little bit, to kind of change course a little bit, but you know you're onto something if you're feeling good during the workout, during the stretching routine, but it's the next day where you're feeling just too sore. And maybe that soreness over time will just get better based off of you doing that same routine over and over. So you're on the right track there if you're feeling pretty good during your stretching routine. But if you're just really feeling sluggish the rest of the day, you're really feeling like it was just too much, you know, that's where we want to reduce the stretching routine. Maybe if you're doing 20 minutes, you drop down to 15 minutes and you don't do as much, then you see how your body responds. So the first thing I always like to look at is, how are you responding to that particular thing? That's number one. And number two is going to be, if our goal is to increase flexibility, we want to see how we're progressing. So say you're doing a stretching routine Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 20 minutes when you wake up. So 3 days a week, 20 minutes. And say a couple weeks go by, a month goes by, and you just can't seem to really make any improvements. You're doing the same routine. Your range of motion isn't really improving. That's where we kind of look at, let's alter things a little bit. Let's try some different techniques. Maybe we add onto the routine. Maybe we try different stretches. Maybe we hold the stretches for longer. Try to tweak something there if you're not seeing progress. So the second thing I look at is that progress. Are we making change in the body? If you have really tight hamstrings and part of your routine is to loosen up your hamstrings, but you just can't seem to make any progress with it, that's where we want to change things up and work on some different techniques. So there's two things to look at. We want to always think about, are we progressing, but also, are we feeling better? And that's where I like to combine those two things. And generally, if you're seeing progress, if you're feeling better after each thing, that means we're on the right path and we can slowly progress it over time. So I hope that makes sense. If you're looking to kind of start a stretching routine, you're choosing different stretches. Say you're choosing 5 stretches and you're going to hold that particular stretch for 25, 30 seconds. Then we can start to look at, how are you responding to those 5 stretches? Do you feel better that day? Are you progressing? And that's how we can kind of tailor it over time. I hope that helps. See you next time.